With this virus, we know that there is a huge amount of financial strain on individuals and businesses. Like I was mentioning before, 1 million Canadians have already applied for EI, and sadly that number will increase. But that is why the Ontario PC government has been doing whatever it can to ensure that businesses and individuals get the support they need. Just yesterday, the Finance Minister, Rod Phillips, announced $17 billion worth of funding that would go to support individuals and businesses during this tough time. The Premier is in touch regularly with industry leaders, chambers like the Ontario Chamber of Commerce who have endorsed this plan, associations that represent some of the largest businesses, and he has promised that he would do whatever he can in his power to keep the economy afloat. Yesterday, we announced $3.3 billion of funding that will go directly into frontline healthcare. $3.7 billion will go directly to supporting people and to protecting their jobs, and $10 billion in tax deferrals for businesses to improve their cash flow. So all hands are on deck to ensure that we, do not lose jobs and we don't have layoffs here in Ontario. I think with this global pandemic, every level of government is doing the best they can. There can always be more that can be done, more for the economy, more screening, more testing, more on the healthcare side of things. But for now, the focus, should be, and I think it is how can we collectively work things out? How can we work as a team? Because things are moving fast and the government needs to listen to the advice of the healthcare professionals and take action. Because we are all in this together. Whether you are a Liberal, Conservative, NDP, from various levels of government, there needs to be a collective effort to ensure that COVID-19 is contained, that we flatten the curve, provide stimulus for the economy, and financial relief for families. And we have seen that collaboration so far because we're all Team Canada and Team Ontario. And putting people before politics is very, very important. The Prime Minister is working with opposition and vice versa, and the same thing is happening at the provincial level. We just saw relief legislation pass very quickly in Ontario with the support of the other parties. That shows leadership from the Premier, but also the willingness of other parties to put partisanship aside and get relief to people that need help the most. The biggest hurdle I see Canada facing, and not just Canada, because we need to understand that this is a global pandemic, is that the enemy is invisible. The virus is unpredictable, and as we have seen from when we get updates from our healthcare professionals, the day-to-day updates, everything is changing hour by hour, day to day. So we lose that predictability and the ability to get ahead of the virus and contain it. And new studies are showing that community transmission is increasing. And this is putting a huge burden on our healthcare. It's increasing anxiety amongst the community. Businesses are closing down, people are losing their jobs, and it is having a serious effect on the economy. Last week alone, we've had 1 million applicants who have applied for employment insurance. And I know so many folks that have reached out, and I've heard some heartbreaking stories that they cannot meet rent, they cannot put food on the table for their families. So the consequences are great, and as time goes on, they're going to get worse. But I know that we have the best medical experts in the world working on this. So we are all in this together, and I know we're going to get through this very, very quickly. I think it's great to see so many individuals giving their input on ways to support Canadians. The focus should be 1, on containing the virus, 2, ensuring the economy remains stable, and 3, businesses and individuals do not suffer tremendous financial difficulties. So anything that moves towards these goals and objectives is something that I think needs to be considered. We cannot take anything off the table. These are tough times. Folks cannot make ends meet, and we need to make sure that the various levels of government are stepping up. Provincially, there have been announcements including providing a one-time payment of $200 per child up to 12 years of age, and $250 for those that have special needs, doubling the guaranteed annual income system payment for low-income seniors for 6 months, providing electricity relief, 6 months payment deferral for OSAP loan for all those students in university and post-secondary education. So whatever relief governments can provide, I'm confident they are doing that. So I think there'll be more measures like this that will be coming up in the days and weeks ahead. My message for the viewers is this. I know everyone is anxious about our jobs, our health, and the future. But I know that we need to show some strength and courage. We have to be hopeful, optimistic, and have faith, because we will come out stronger than before. But the governments cannot do this alone. We all need to do our part. We need to practice social distancing, keep at least 6 feet of physical distance, wash our hands as frequently as possible, cough or sneeze into our elbows, and stay home. And I know that's going to be tough when the weather gets better. But we also need to be compassionate. Let's not engage in panic buying. Let's ask our neighbors or the seniors or anyone we know if need any help. And finally, I want to send a message of gratitude to all the business owners, the community leaders, the gurdwaras, the mandirs, the masjids, the churches, members of the media, community organizations that have all stepped up and provided volunteer services. They've given free meals, helped with groceries, and have supported the most vulnerable. And a huge thank you to all the frontline workers out there, the doctors, the nurses, the hospital staff, for making sure we are all healthy and safe. We are going to get through this, but we have to all do it together.